Bump Love is brought to you by
Pay school fees and win up to 50 million in cash prizes. Dial *185 hash, select option 6 and follow the prompts.
Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
They're showing up in chocolate cookies, water, juice, jam, honey. These days, the drugs that our teenagers are using are disguised in places right in our faces. On today's show, we're going to discuss the disguise of drugs with our teenagers.
Where are children getting all these drugs from? The alcohol, we know it's ideally it's accessible. Even with the signage of not below 18 years, it's accessible.
We were schooled, remember one of the shows, that at times it's in our homes.
Sodas that are black in color, they at times mix it with this. So they mix the two. So for you may think the child is taking a soda, but what actually is inside is alcohol. You'll find the person very excited. When it comes to physical, you have a lot of energy to do things. That's when it comes to nicotine substance. Coffee, caffeine, cocaine, all those ones are stimulators.
I know when you said coffee, I was just like, Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
And on the show today, we have a teacher, a passionate teacher, whose teaches physics and mathematics, especially my kind of teacher. Yes. He is very passionate about mental health and the education system, but also mostly about teenagers and how they are living their lives. Welcome to the show, Mr. Kaziba, Stephen.
Thank you so much.
Teens and Tensions. It's been quite the series, hasn't it?
Yes.
Some days are hard, some days are... But here we are. Welcome back from last week's show. That was
I think
something.
it was exciting to
It
have.
was something. It was, yeah. And I hope you all remember, that's Husky right there.
Hello.
And Sharon O. And Mama Boy. And yours truly, Manuela Mlondo. So we're digging deeper. This is a second time, this is a second show that we're doing on drugs. And that's because you guys asked for us to do this, yeah? And so we want to enter the world of drugs. We're going deep. We have the samples, we have how they are doing it, where are they getting these drugs from? That's what we'll be discussing on today's show.
Strap up.
Now, get ready. Strap yourself in, because just even from the beginning of just Mr. Stephen putting some things there, it's been quite, we're already scared, we're already stressed.
Stress
We are
is
being
the word.
Mr. Kaziba, what drugs, or what are the most common types and the chemical substances found in the drugs teenagers are abusing today? I warned you, we are going straight in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to start with defining what a drug is.
Okay.
So when we talk about a drug is any chemical or substance that alters the biological processes when taken or administered to any living thing. Okay. Now, drugs have different types, and we have mainly 4 types. But each of those types does something different when taken in by a human being. So the first type I want to talk about is called a depressant. Sometimes we call it a downer. Now, a downer or a depressant slows down the functioning of the brain and the central nervous system. A central nervous system is that part in the body that connects the brain and then the spinal cord. Now, whenever you take in a depressant, an example, I have alcohol. Alcohol is one of the depressants. We have gin, or sometimes we call it a warrage. So this one is another depressant. Now, the moment someone takes in these drugs or takes in alcohol, what will happen is that in the body, the brain needs oxygen. Now, when you take in this drug, it is going to cut on the oxygen that is supplied to the brain. So mean that the brain is going to receive little oxygen. Now, the brain has a part we call the prefrontal cortex. It is a part around this part. Now, that part is responsible for 1, emotional regulation, decision making, planning, and other functions. Now, whenever the oxygen the prefrontal cortex receives is little, it means that the functioning of the prefrontal cortex is not
nullified.
Yes. So that is why when someone takes in an alcohol drink, it means that the decision making that the person is going to make is going to be bad.
Down the drain.
Yes. The planning is going to be bad. The memory is also going to be affected or bad. Then we have another type. We call them uppers. These ones stimulate, or sometimes we call them stimulators. An example we have what we call the vapes. We have another one, we call them cat. Sometimes in local language we call them Coca-Cola. We have another one that is common. These are cookies. Now, when it comes to stimulators, the main ingredient or chemical inside, we call it nicotine, is the common one. So all these ones, the cookies, when it comes to vapes, for them they have nicotine. That's the main ingredient they use. But when it comes to a cat, it has a chemical called cathine. That is what is inside. Now for them, what happens? When someone takes them, they are going to affect or they excite the neurons we have in the brain. The moment they excite the neurons are going to release what we call the dopamine.
Oh, yes.
So dopamine is the reward system for the brain. So someone is going to be very excited when he takes them. So those ones are responsible for exciting. So when someone takes in anything which has nicotine, you'll find the person very excited. When it comes to physical, you have a lot of energy to do things. That's when it comes to nicotine substance. But still other stimulators we have caffeine. That one is mainly found in coffee, caffeine, cocaine. All those ones are stimulators.
I know when you said coffee, I was just like, I now understand, why people like
are happy when they're taking coffee.
When they're taking coffee.
Okay. Then the third type, we have painkillers. Sometimes we call them opioids. Now, opioids mainly are used to relieve pain. When children are going through a lot of pain, sometimes they go on and use the opioids. Now, opioids are derived from a plant called poppy plant, or sometimes they call them opium. Now, those ones, we have them on the market, but in Uganda, they may not be so common. However, in pharmacies, we have them. And one of the, it's not so common, but one that children usually abuse is called morphine.
Oh, yes.
Morphine. So that is one of the most dangerous one we have on the market. And that one, what happens that when a child takes in, he becomes very addicted to it. And time comes, and that one is mainly got through, we have the tablet ones, but also we have the injection ones. So that is another type, but mainly it's used to relieve the pain. Then the fourth one, we call them hallucinogens. Now those ones, they alter the perception or the senses of a human being. They mainly affect the visual, the auditory. So when someone takes them, you will see someone when he's walking, in case this is the person, you see them walking as if they are walking at 45 degrees. He sees someone, he says, is this another person? So he sees people differently. Yeah, so they mainly use it in hospitals. If you remember very well, our parents used to tell us that those mushrooms, we are not supposed to take them. So that one is found in one of the mushrooms we call magic mushrooms. So all those mushrooms, the parents used to tell us that this one, you're not supposed to take it. That's where we find that drug. Then the last one, for it, this one doesn't have any specific level where it lies or type, and that's what we call the cannabis. Sometimes we call it the marijuana. Or scientifically, cannabis is the scientific name derived from Latin, but here locally we call it marijuana, and it has other names. Now that one can act as a depressant or a stimulator. So it depends.
It depends on who, yes. That was going to be my question actually, because usually the people react differently depending on what they take.
I've heard someone saying you talk to it.
What do you mean?
You take it and then you say, I want you to make
One,
me
today
high.
you'll be disciplined. You'll be quiet.
It's a living thing.
Today let's have a party.
Now that one looks like this. So that's how it looks like. So they are mainly leaves. Sometimes they can make it
Are they
in
dried?
Yes, they are dried, and sometimes they can be in powder form, depending on the location where you are buying it from, or where you're getting it from, or where these children access it from. So those are the main drugs that you are going to find in different areas, and sometimes what the children use.
So you'll be thinking it's a cigarette with the nicotine, but it's actually a drug.
Exactly.
Is that the one they smoke and it does those sparking things like? I have seen it before. Like I passed somebody and I was like, why do we have fireworks? What's happening? And I was like, what's happening? Yeah, is that the one that does that?
Yes, this one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You hinted on it, but didn't go deep into it. You said depending on where they get it from.
Yes.
Okay.
I am curious, where are children getting all these drugs from? The alcohol, we know ideally it's accessible. Even with the signage of not below 18 years, it's accessible.
We were schooled, remember one of the shows, that at times it's in our homes.
Yes.
Yes, we have stocked
in our homes, we have bars in the fridges and whatever.
Hey, we have to show we have money.
Yes.
So we have bars.
Bars inside the house, yes. The fridge is well stocked. So, but for the opioids and the other, the ones which cause hallucination and what morphine, we know pharmacies. Where are children buying all these drugs from?
Okay, thank you. I'll start with the cannabis. Now, cannabis contains a chemical called tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. Now, this one can easily be found in ghettos. Case in point, when you go to Chisenyi in town, there are people there who sell it, and each of these can go in for 1,000, depending on the type you want. Now, this particular one, it is at 1,000, but this one is the concentrated. Now, there are those ones that go in for 500 shillings. Now, that one is mixed with tobacco and then the cannabis. So when you go to those areas, you'll be able to find it. Then when it comes to the cookies, these ones still can be found in some shops in town. But mainly, they can also be found online. When you check online and you search, you'll be able to find some of these ones. The same thing will happen when it comes to the vapes. These ones, the moment you search online, you'll be able to find it there.
I'm
Searching
online
let me
right
check
now
what's I want to
because
check.
what?
So when they're searching cookies, they're searching what? What are they saying?
With cookies.
Really? Online.
Online.
With like a delivery guy, efficient delivery. You people.
Really? Efficient?
Because I'm thinking online delivery, it's usually because people are extremely efficient.
Wow.
For you to have an online business.
You found them there.
Found, right?
On what?
They are
on
online.
A site.
Yeah.
On a site. Is it a famous site? Is it a site? Like, what's going on?
You can't have an online business when you're not efficient.
He's still telling us.
Okay.
What about in schools? Because some children will not be able to access and what. Who brings them into schools?
Okay.
Some buy within the school. Who brings them there?
Now, when it comes to school, we have different venture or channels through which they enter in school. The first one, let me talk about the school side. Now, when it comes to school, one, they go through the gatekeepers, or what we call the askaris. So what they do, they befriend those people, and they keep on tipping them on with some money. We have the wardens and the matrons, and it becomes worse if those matrons and the wardens also take it. So it becomes very easy. Yes. And also, unfortunately, we may also have some teachers and who keep on bringing, who are trading, who are making business within school. Then when it comes to the family side, one, the older siblings, whenever they come on to check on their brothers and sisters, sometimes they come with it in school. Then also we have some parents that also bring them. I want maybe to be very specific. It's sometimes more so if you are having international students. Some of those parents, when they are coming in, because they are used to it, they usually carry it in schools where those children are. Yes.
So with all the checks, and when we come to school, we open suitcases, you're checking the grab, you're checking the what. How do these things get into the schools? Where do they pass?
Okay, thank you. Now, when it comes to opening days, when schools are opening, children are very wise. And they always do all what it takes to ensure that they have those drugs into school. A case in point, some, when they're coming to school, they usually use the toilet papers. What they do, some of these toilet papers, when you check inside, you'll find that they are going to hide those drugs inside. So as a teacher, when you are checking, you may not be able to see what is inside. So since it is sealed, and sometimes these toilet papers are wrapped with papers, so they hide their things inside. Other ways they do bring them through the calculators. When you see a calculator, you may not suspect that there is anything. It is until when you open it that you know that inside there is something that they can be hiding inside. Others,
I have. That one can even be in their
Because
pocket.
thank you. That's what I was thinking. That as you're checking, the calculator is in his pocket or her pocket. So
And they ask him, where's the calculator? It's here.
Yeah, you're like, oh, good child.
yes,
Good child.
you tick requirements list.
some
I know
put
it's very
them through the
scary.
mattresses for schools that allow children to come the mattresses, pillowcases, and even at worst, some girls put them in the bras. So when they are coming, a teacher may not be able to check inside, but he finds sometimes inside there.
Okay, so for us, what we used to hide in pillows and bras, it used to be the trousers to wear on Kadanke.
Yeah,
Because they cannot have a
Now I
trouser.
know there are some
We
schools
hide
that
it.
have banned cookies. Actually, you can't bring cookies as part of
I
your
think some are
grab.
just banning
You
grab
can
entirely.
bring biscuits branded sealed, but you cannot bring cookies.
Oh,
Trouser for
wow.
Kadanke. That one, I also hid that one.
Imagine how
Then
innocent.
we have those ones that will package it like the way you see this, that this is honey, but actually when you check inside, when it is alcohol.
wow.
So because they have the same color, so you may not be able to notice that what is inside is actually honey. So for them, what they do, they open the honey thing, they put it there, and then after they seal. Since they have the same color, you may not be able to notice.
Besides, there are many students. You've had a long day.
Why are you checking for honey? It's not on the requirement list.
Exactly.
So those are some of the different forms through which they enter.
I think there's another one where you shared earlier, the one of where they put the gin with water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Then the other one is whereby instead of having this gin or warrage, they put it in a water bottle. And sometimes these children have their own water bottles,
Yeah,
so they can
like a
easily...
carton of water.
Like a carton, right? I was thinking a carton of water.
So they pack it there and then they carry it to school.
You know, the one that I've been thinking is they actually help me with that bottle. They pierce a hole through. I think it's under
the bottom.
here.
With a
Yeah, at the
syringe.
bottom with a syringe. Water pours out. They put in back and they burn. So like I think that the seal
Still
here
is still
Looks legit.
looks legit.
It's as you were saying, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of time and a lot of engaging your brain. Why do they go this extra length? What is it? What are they looking for?
Okay.
Because it means they go to the pharmacy, buy a syringe. I mean, it's cheap. Then come home. Some of us even fear just looking at needles. But they're going the extra mile to hide in toilet paper, calculators, bread. I think
Yes,
Dr.
Dr.
Nam told us
Nam
about
about
bread. Pour warrage in bread or alcohol, dry the bread, then pack it again. It's a lot of work. What are they looking for? What is it?
Okay. Now, children we are dealing with currently are having a lot on their mind. The very many happy faces you see, when you interact with them deeply, there is a lot that is going through.
Yeah.
Many of the parents have a lot of expectations from these children, and it's always unfortunate that many of these parents do not understand the children. Many of the parents hear, but they do not listen. They are able to see, but they are not observing. They are able to talk, but they do not act. They are physically present, but emotionally absent. So you find that it's not the lack of awareness, but attention and intention. So the children's voice are sealed. They cannot express themselves. So they have a lot they are experiencing, and their parents are not supporting them. Many of the parents are absent, and they delegate almost all the work to the maids, their older siblings, and the rest of that. So you find that this child, the parent has told the child that you are going to school, this is what I want. So you find that they are really very, very stressed with the academic work. They have no person they can share with, because many of the parents, there is a big gap between the child and then the parent. And since that the parents are not understanding the children, you find that a case in point, I can give an example. We have a parent who told a child that I want you to do engineering, nothing else from that. So the child went on, he was doing PEM for a full year. But this particular parent did not understand what the child was going through. So things became hard for the child. The school tried to engage the parent. The parent said, you know, they have this disease we call TB. I'm too busy. I cannot make it. So what happened that this child was very depressed. Things were too much. The parent was never around to listen to the child. So what happened? The child had to go and get involved in the drugs such that he can be able to cool, because
to numb those feelings.
Their feelings. Whenever he would go back home, the parent did not have any time for the child. He said, for me, this is what I want. But luckily enough, what happened that the school got other avenues through which they can support the child. They called the parent. The first time he refused to come, and then they had to call him again. So when he came, they told the parent that, please, this child cannot manage physics, cannot manage math and engineering. Can the child switch and do the art subjects? Fortunately, the parents said, from what I've been seeing, the child has not even been getting anything above 5 points. Let him do what he can. So what happened? The child switched. That was last year. The other year, senior 5. Then last year, when he was senior 6, the child changed, and he changed the combination. So when last year the exams came, the person had excelled with 17 points.
Wow.
From 5.
Wasted years, you would have been like 24.
From 5
Yes.
Wow.
I think we need to listen to children, but also not. You might find the parent wanted to be an engineer and failed maybe, and decided that all the parent
vicariously through their
or
child.
the parent is an engineer and decided
Your grandpa is an engineer. I'm an
you will take
engineer.
over. You will be an engineer as
Oh,
well.
the neighbor's child, or the sister's child is a
Don't do
doctor,
it.
an engineer,
Don't
and
do
they're
it.
like, "Bana, gefe, will we
Fet
only
was
have
the word.
thank you
Yes.
much."
We must have an engineer.
The thing that Barbara spoke about, though, I remember Dr. Nabot saying that these children are doing business in school. That just with the loaf of bread,
A slice.
is 20,000.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, I mean, if I don't have Grab, my parents are giving me 50K for pocket money, I can do business and then live the life I want to live. So people at school are looking at your child as the rich kid, and at home you're like, "Nego, where is the money coming from?" Hey, and the kid is doing well business.
I actually know a parent who was called to school, and his daughter was the leader of rich gang at school.
Yeah.
Parent was like, "Rich what? You know what is this rubbish? There's even a rich gang in school." On top of that, my daughter is the leader. He was so distressed.
But you know, there's a part where we're going to talk about some behaviors that your child is doing, where you need to be like, there's something, and that's coming up. But then I want to ask a question that I think some of the viewers asked earlier, and they're saying, okay, even as our parents stressed us, that they wanted us to be engineers, but here we are on social media. Dancing, so you guys, engineer Manuela, I'm now in. If you're not watch that video, by the way.
And you said
go watch it.
she likes physics and math.
And I love physics. Not only do I love physics and math, I'm really good at physics, chemistry, mathematics. I'm good at them, but I'm dancing on TikTok. So why is it that when we were under the same pressure, we were not... Okay, maybe we were, maybe some people were, but this thing of drug abuse, was it this bad in our time?
I have your answer.
I
have your answer. Our mummies were at home. Even those who worked.
Yeah.
Somehow, even if she had a shop or she had 4, 5 o'clock.
She's in your face.
So what you're saying, our mummies had no TB?
No. Actually, you'd hear her from the gate and everyone says, "Oh," because she's in your business until you sleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
But wasn't the exposure also really not this?
I knew someone was going to call us fellas. It's okay, let's go with it.
No. When I was in high school, there were children doing drugs already.
But what drugs were they, like advanced, like
those ones of 1K?
You see what he's calling 1K? That's what I wanted to talk about. Someone told me, no, 1K. How could you take over? There's 10K, 50K, depending on the grade. I said, Wanje. That tiny thing at 50K.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So is it the purification or the concentration?
He said the grade. Also the ghetto where you buy it from. They're like, Waguzewa?
So, Mr.
Know what
Steve,
you're talking about.
I, with all the things that you have shown us today, help us understand the different, methods that these children are actually taking in. These, substances. Because, for example, when he was showcasing these things, I first said, "We're going to think to the witch doctor. What's with the limbs? What's with the limbs?" Or I could even find them, but because what you already told us, the whole TB, not too busy, but also listening, but not really attentive. It's also possible to see it and actually miss it. But you seem to say that there are very many ways that these drugs are ingested in them. And as you said, because I'm not an expert, for me, it's the time I was traumatized. I'm a decorator. So I had a girl on my team, and I was scared that something would happen to her, like on site. We were deep down in Lira. And I took her to spend a night with, like the same hotel, and we left the boys in a different place. And at night, and I'm thinking maybe she's going to shower, maybe something, only to turn. And the truth is, I was not going to turn because I was thinking private moment, let the girl be. But my intuition, there was just this very strong nudge. Lo and behold, I turn. This girl is seated on her bed with a spoon, a lighter, and she's hitting something on that spoon. And hitting, but it's for like sense of urgency. I need this. So I first freeze, then I'm remembering movies. I'm trying to remember like a movie clip I saw. What's wrong? Is this voodoo? By the time I comprehended that we were melting something that she would ordinarily inject into her body, she now had to make sure it boils a lot so that she inhales it. So the closeness and like no vapor should pass me. That's what I woke up to. And the truth is, because I had completely no knowledge about it, I didn't know how to speak to her. I froze until she was done with her business. Because I froze, she fell on the bed. When she woke up, she was conversing for me, thinking I'm okay with it. But all this time, I was in shock. Up to today, I've never recovered. Like I just kept thinking, even when I spoke to her, I realized so she was like in it too deep.
She was not hearing you.
She was not hearing me. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to start with this one that looks like honey. Now,
which is honey?
Honey.
But they've drugged it.
Yes, they have mixed in with this drug. So when they mix honey and this, they usually put on bread and any other thing that they eat. So for them, they keep on putting.
That means they can put it like in black chai. You're like, my baby is healthy.
Of course.
Mommy, I no longer want sugar, now I want honey.
You're thinking,
But you prefer double.
Mommy, check that honey.
Oh my dog. We are in trouble.
Then now like sodas that are black in color, they at times mix it with this. So they mix the two. So for you may think the child is taking a soda, but what actually is inside is alcohol. So they usually mix the two. They put half here,
Like
then
my
they
child likes soda.
sodas.
So we have to be wary when they like those dark sodas.
Dark sodas.
But you see, I've been to a school where children carry, she mentioned a carton of water, but they carry now, they no longer do quencher. You know, we used to take quencher stands. No, they take cartons of soda. So I'm thinking, if you purchase these things a week earlier, the child has had a head start to actually mix.
you want to be an organized parent.
You get.
I don't want to panic on the last.
I mean, I don't want to line up in the supermarket, so let's buy these things a week. That's like a whole week to do the
Whatever
bread.
they want.
That's scary.
The water.
Okay.
Then sometimes they get the mineral water bottle and then they mix it with the gin or what you call the warrage. So they mix the two and then they will be taken.
So you've carried the water, they have it in a carton.
Yeah.
Then they've somehow sneaked in the gin through the guard or whoever. Now then they just mix and they come to class. You just think they are drinking water.
But guys, that thing smells. Either way, will catch you. How do
In a
you
class of 80
confuse me?
students, Sharon.
How do you
please.
confuse me that
That they
it's just
sit at the
water?
back.
Now
And you're not
for
serious.
that one, they are very
Crying,
wise. Tizer is made up of mainly ethanol. That is the alcohol pit. They just add on water. And there, because remember, ethanol, they take it. In fact, even in the school labs, many times children steal that ethanol.
Sharp
and they,
kids.
yes, they add water and they take it.
True.
Yes, so that's why
that one
they
I've
take.
had.
Katima Pachi with sanitizer when there's mouthwash.
Mkwano, you're too bougie.
There's
How
how
much
much
is
is pocket money.
I know, because I'm imagining rich gang chick.
Nedda mkwano, not on mouthwash. Priorities. Priorities.
Actually, you're entering her profit.
Okay.
Oh, bread.
Okay.
bread.
Business
Then
in
she uses,
drink. I'm sorry.
Because the bread slice is 20K.
Sanitizer it is, please. It's fine.
Then others, they inject themselves.
That one,
Now,
guys.
this is the
It's not a good
injection.
sight to see.
Now, you'll notice that what they do are more so for kids who are going through a lot of pain. They use some painkillers. Let me say, like I talked about morphine.
morphine,
Yeah, that
yes.
one. Though now that one, I think the ministry must come out to put some limitations
On
that.
who accesses it.
Honestly, it shouldn't be over the counter.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually used not to be over the counter, so something is wrong.
It's underground.
Yeah.
But also we have, there are parents who are working in drug shops, so sometimes they leave them there, so children can easily
Oh, the children are
Now
assisting
medicine
in
is
the
being
shops
picked
on
like the
holiday.
other money which was under, you
No, but
also
if a
pick
child is
medicine.
assisting on holiday, I mean, like, some stock might go
Yeah.
missing.
And that's what she's saying.
don't
Those
know.
days they used to steal money.
Money. And
Now
we
they
are
are
stealing
stealing
it,
morphine.
we are
I
stealing.
tell me another power of morphine. Morphine didn't make a thing after I delivered. I was high like a kite. I was so excited to the point that when I went back to deliver Bianca,
You asked
which
for
was
it?
the first question I asked the
Will
doctor.
I
I'm like,
get
will I get
fly?
morphine? He's like, what? And then he told me actually that they found that many doctors were getting addicted to the morphine.
Yes.
They
So
were
they withdrew it from
yeah, so they
hospitals.
withdrew it from hospitals.
Oh.
How now they withdrew it from hospitals and
To the
now it's over the
pharmacies.
counter.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
don't
make
get it.
sense. Yeah.
I think for me, I know you're going to continue answering that question, but I want to know what pain is it exactly they are going through?
I know. I also wanted to ask, is it mental
Where
pain,
they-
emotional
You could say
pain?
they be
Have they had
stressed.
accidents? You guys are real African moms. Anyway.
The last time I asked about stress, you wanted to eat.
What's the
me,
Now,
pain
the
the children
common
are going
gender that uses this are the girls.
The common what?
Gender.
Are the girls. And one of the, during the menstruation periods. So they, when they are feeling that pain and they go to unlicensed drug shops, they usually refer them that, let us give you this kind of drug such that you can use. So you'll find that those children carry this to school and also they carry that injectable thing. So you find that those children, when you check on their hand here, you'll find that they have a lot of scars, a lot of injections. And at least I know one of the cases whereby this child got so addicted to it that one time when she fell sick, that they could not see any vein on the hands. And now the doctors had to go and look at the main vein in the throat for them to put the water. So that is the main gender that uses it. So you'll find that those children, when they're at school, they're always putting in on long things.
Sweaters, even when it's hot.
Even when it is hot.
And you know, it's a common teenage habit.
Yeah.
I've been to school to see my daughter at lunchtime. It was hot. Yes. You know, you're in the car, full AC. You get out, you're like, guys, it's hot. But almost all the girls passing you.
Wearing sweaters.
People, are we in
So it
different
can be
countries?
hidden.
Yes.
Oh man.
So that's why they use it.
Oh my gosh.
Then for the vapes, now like this particular one, it is a chargeable one. So they usually charge them maybe in class. So here, that's where they
Isn't that expensive though to afford? Temunzita.
It's a one-off purchase, madam.
Yeah,
It's rechargeable.
They are rich. All right.
so this one, online, when you check online, you find it starting at 50,000 onwards.
okay.
So for them, they always put it around here, their nose, then they inhale it, and then they exhale the air.
Oh, it's not. I see them.
They put on the nose or the mouth? The mouth.
And then
mouth.
The mouth, then they exhale.
Okay. So then this one,
No. First, hold on. Because I was told, there was a period I was told that vapes are used for people that
Are
kind of want to
stopping to
stop.
smoke.
Yes.
So I thought it was a nice
smoking.
thing, yeah.
Then-
Like to stop smoking.
Yeah,
and then
and-
that's just like to
make them
confuse
feel.
the mind.
Yes.
Yes.
There
So
was a
it's,
thing
it's
like
like
that.
it's real.
It's
So
so
they are real
smoking
smoking.
as well.
There's one
Yes.
that to give you a sense of stop smoking, they'd put for them like vanilla
Yes,
or something. So
yes.
you just
It's
have the
there.
idea,
It's
but it's
actually
there.
there.
But now
Electric
it's being
cigarette, I
abused.
think.
Yes, now it's just being abused and they're doing drugs because it looks cool. It's like you start your idea meaning to do good, and then someone is like, hey, by the way, this thing we could use. That's what happened to it.
and now like many of these ones, they come in different flavors. There's one for watermelon, strawberry, and the rest of that.
Watermelon?
Yes, and the major component, like I said, there is nicotine, of which we say that nicotine, once you take it, it excites the neurons, it releases the dopamine, and then you'll be very excited. So that's why when you find such children, see, they are always very happy, moody, everything, and they can really do a lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work, like
As
when
in class work or physical?
physical.
Wow.
In case they're going for sports, they, you might find them playing almost the whole day. They don't feel tired. In case it's manual labor, you find them, they are so hardworking.
And those are benchmarks we use also for defining good
good
children.
child.
Good active child. Totally lazy at all.
I was once in Butabika Hospital, and the person I taken there was our person. They gave him an injection and he blacked out. And we're like, is he dead? Is he dead? They're like, no, he's not on drugs. Because these children you see here are on drugs. When you give them this medication, they run around for the next 3 days and they fall somewhere when it eventually wears off. Then the drug catches up. We have to keep walking around to pick them up. But this is how we know someone is on drugs or not. When we give them the medication, they just keep active. They're like,
Because it's supposed to sedate them.
You pass out before the guy even removes the syringe, you're out. It's that quick. But there were so many young people, and it's like, no, all those.
They have
being
this
given
drug. You see how this one has fallen?
We've given them, but we are waiting for the drug too, because they're all on drugs. And they're young people.
Yeah.
But they're talking like, you can sit there and they talk to you for 1 hour straight. No break. And you're like, Manange, what did I do? Non-stop. So I see what you mean by they're active.
Yeah, active.
Wow, that's scary. And for you thinking my child is very active. Oh, wow.
Then we have these ones, the cigarettes. For these ones, sometimes they get the matchbox from the kitchen, sometimes they carry
School
them.
kitchen.
Yes. And that is another way. Those cooks sometimes are the ones even who bring in those drugs to school. Yeah, so they get this and then they start smoking. So sometimes there is a case in one of the schools whereby kids were found in the ceiling smoking. You know those open ceilings. So they usually
That's how fires start.
Fires, the
that's
child falls
fires
and breaks
smoking in
a bone or something.
That's how addiction is. You can almost do anything.
You become stupid.
Yeah.
It's
For
so
it.
sad.
Yeah.
the desperation to have the next kick.
We are talking about, I think earlier, in the break, we are talking about concentration. Some of them take it for concentration.
Yes,
I think it was that.
Was it this?
Okay, yeah.
Or to
Now-
concentrate in class, eh?
Apparently.
Yes. Now, it depends. When it comes to stimulators, the ones that excites, let me talk about the cat. Now, sometimes these children want to read for long hours to achieve their objectives.
Pressure.
Pressure.
The mommy has said.
You know what mommy wants?
So what they do, you'll find those kids are getting this, getting the cat, they get the chewing gum. This is one of the common ones. They get the chewing gum. Now, the moment they have the chewing gum, they mix the two. So they start chewing almost the whole night. So you'll find that these children can read from around 9 p.m. to around even 3, reading without getting tired.
Even the jaws don't get tired. I feel like I could.
But can you remember those
That's
things?
what I was
When you, okay, your jaws
Because they say it affects
your friends
memory.
are seeing you reading and reading
Yeah.
and reading. And everything seems to be coming
Then you
in.
black out in the
When
exam.
the
When you
drugs
stop
are off,
chewing.
can you remember the things you read?
Now,
Think of it.
Now,
Oh,
when
Lord.
it comes to this, surely sometimes they remember some, but not all. But the consequences of their action comes during the daytime, whereby you see them sleeping in class, and when the drug is off, you see the kind of thing. Yeah, but sometimes it's because of the myth, because there are some people who usually tell them that once you take that, you'll be able to perform well. So they copy such practices and they continue.
It's like how they used to tell us, people put your feet in cold water. That thing was not working,
So
but
you're going to sleep.
there was a Mugezi who said it works.
We all tried that. Did you try
Never
that?
worked.
Coffee in cold water.
Coffee.
Then
you put
we
your
used to
feet
call
in.
it soliu.
Like you drink, you put
drink
coffee
it
with cold water, and you drink.
a sugar.
Oh, I
Eh.
thought you step in.
So it's called
So
soliu.
you were on drugs.
No. It was called soliu.
Because it says caffeine.
It's caffeine, and it has
Soliu.
Just
So
make
you
caffeine
should-
afford this.
So
it
it
has
is-
caffeine.
Yes, it's the
It's
chemical
a
inside.
stimulant.
So
you are being stimulated. Dear, you teacher, you leave this one.
Teacher, you leave this student. You leave this student.
Wow.
So they take them for different purposes. So this one, mainly to keep reading for long hours. When it comes to these alcoholic ones, like we said that these ones are depressors. Sometimes when they're so depressed, it has been long, they are very tired, they take this one to be very relaxed.
So right now our stress is bills, what?
The cares of this world.
Investments, relationships, marriage, the cares of this world. They are equal to theirs. Yes. They're equal to what they're going through. And then theirs will also equal to what a primary school child will be going through, having to wake up at 5 o'clock to bathe, sit in traffic for 2 hours with mommy,
Bus at 5.
wait for the bus at 5, sit on the bus, pick up Tom, Dick, and
Everybody.
Harry, go,
Reach
bad
school at
roads,
8.
reach school at 8.
I see.
They're
That's
equally
their
stressed.
stress.
Yes. So we can't trivialize and say because they're not paying bills and they're not having to deal with
Then they're
difficult
not stressed.
spouses, they're not stressed.
Saying I was like, me teacher. And Sharon decided, teacher, you leave these ones. for me,
Leave
teacher."
them.
I'm just curious, like with all these fancy things that are going on, as a parent, I'm now thinking this might be very difficult for me to detect where these drugs are. I mean, there are many parents who have like 6 children, they're all in boarding school. How do I detect these things?
Even when
Is
they're
it
in
even
the
possible?
school, they come and go to their
Because first of
bedroom.
all, I don't even know what this lift tastes like. Like, if they did it in some form, I don't know what to do. How do I detect these things?
Okay, now one, you...
About how do we monitor?
Okay, now what are some of the signs? Because as a parent, you must be able to observe. Earlier on, I told you that many of our parents see, but they don't observe. Now, you need to be able to monitor the child's behavior and the different signs and symptoms that show. A case in point, there are some drugs that when the child takes them, you can be able to see the signs. A case in point, let me say someone has taken alcohol as one of the drinks. What are you going to notice? One, in case is at home, that child will be very sleepy. The child will always try to avoid you. When he or she sees it, he can start hiding. You'll find that these children always want to be in isolation. They want to be alone. They want to do their things alone. Even if you tell the child that, please, you come and escort me here and there. The child will say, no, mommy, I am busy.
I feel tired.
Very tired. They do not want to eat.
Oh.
Yeah, they say, I'm full, I don't want anything, I'm full. So you find that they don't want to eat. Even at school, you find that when it comes to lunchtime, those children are always want to stay in class. They don't want to be together with other kids. They don't not want to eat.
Antisocial.
Antisocial. Then you can also look at the eyes. More so if you take the stimulants, because they make you read for long hours, so you really get enough sleep. So you find that the eyes are sometimes red. Yes. Then for those ones that are using injections, you may try to check if that person always wants to put on long-sleeved things. Sometimes you find that they have scars here on their thing. So you check out for those kind of signs for those children. Then sometimes you, as a parent, you may need to go in for a rapid drug test.
Oh, you can do a drug
Follow
test?
your children, or you take your children to the hospital?
Now,
So just swing by. It's all right.
Everybody pee in this cup.
okay, maybe what you do.
You're watching too many
People who
movies.
don't know things, they are quick to
I
pop.
don't
What?
watch
So one of the things you can do, you may play with their minds. You can tell them, today we are going out. So all of them come in the car. But now you need to be strategic. You talk to the doctor that we are coming here, we want to do a blood test, and this is what I want you.
You're looking for.
Yes. But remember, if you want them to abide, you should be the first example. So you,
also you.
You be the first. Then also you tell them, we are just doing some blood testing. So you do, and then after that, you can go home and then tell the doctor what you really want.
Send me the results.
Send me the results. Some of the hospitals are doing it well.
Email, message.
Yes. So it is always better to be wrong, but failure to not to verify what you have. Yes.
You guys, it just occurred to me that some of the parents were telling to go and do random tests and are consuming the weed cookies, are going for parties and taking the drugs and vaping and what. These children are learning from parents. And that's one thing that we had was friends, school, pressure, what. Some
But you had mentioned parents,
Some parents are actually...
It's their lifestyle.
It's their lifestyle. Yes. Some host the parties at home and the children watch. Some go with the children for parties and you think they're not seeing or they're not noticing. There's some cookie going on. There are cookies going on. God, they're not coming to our side. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, then I think that's where the parents must get into the game. Because if they are not in the game, remember the children at this age, their brains are still developing, growing. So whatever thing they see, it is going to stick. And that's one of the challenges that children are facing in school these days. For the parent, for you, keep pushing the parent, I want you to get this, this, and this. But the child has a lot. So many of those behaviors that children display at school, sometimes it's not that they learn them from school, they learn them from the parents at home. So as a parent, in case you are this person who takes some alcohol or other drinks, in presence of a child, at least get another drink. Whenever the child is at home or whenever you feel that you want to take, at least we advise that you can take it outside the child. Because now a case in point that we have children as early as senior 1 who are taking alcohol, even in primary, because they learn them from the parent. The parent, whenever he wants, he says, you can bring me this, you can bring me this, you can bring this. So in the process, the child learning. Sometimes they want to experiment.
They test.
They test.
You take this glass back to the sink, I'm done.
Then you do this Cadia, shake a bit.
Sometimes I smoked like that. So
throw for me a cigarette outside.
So you lift it up.
No, my parents smoked like chimneys and drank like fish. But they used to do it in the balcony, quiet, calm. In the evening when they are done, they've finished, they just say, good night, children. Good night, children. You never even know if they are drunk. But in the morning, Azan would have to sweep.
And clear up.
And clean. Yes. So I just get the bottles. I just, until they've left the whole nankage. What do they call it?
Crate.
Crate. So you collect. When you finish,
Always
you find that you always have
You're just being inquisitive.
Borrow. Yeah. Okay, and then there was cigarettes as you're putting.
You collected all of them? Wow.
Auntie, I'm sweet.
You're a good
Okay,
child.
sweet,
You
sweet.
clean the house before they get up.
Again, they're just
Wow.
to what?
Tundus, please.
And I'm like, hey, this kawan still has it.
Has
Like
it-
a white
they wasted.
part. They
wasted.
finished. I'm like, wow. But I remember tasting.
Wow.
And the first time they collected, I was like,
What is it? But they are friends drunk them.
Then the cigarettes, they had lighters. So I went
You
behind
knew how
that
to use
door.
the lighter?
Yeah, because I could see
Yeah.
you watch.
You watch.
I thought you said
And
they were
I'm
the
not
balcony
old,
by
I'm like in
themselves.
P5.
Either way, you will
Wow.
figure it
P5,
out.
So I go behind that door.
See how the curtain catches fire. This is it.
I light the car thing, it's there. I'm not even holding it like this. I'm solid door. I caught and swore that
Never.
Yes.
This is not
I'm not doing this.
It's not for me.
Because why? And then I look at my parents like, these guys,
I know
even
what
go to
that
the
is.
sitting room to take nonsense.
Yes.
Balcony.
It was not fancy
It
anymore.
was not fun to that from that day. I never desired.
He got vaccinated.
I got vaccinated. So I feel like in some instances, you just have to pray for your children.
That's what I was going to say. The reaction varies.
What you
Another
say?
person gets addicted. The other one is like, never, not me. It shall never be me.
It's tasteless. It's horrible. If you're a teenager there and you're wondering, it tastes
There is
bad.
nothing.
It's bitter.
Ew. Oh my word.
So there's this desire of the height, what he was describing. So, and he explained them so well, and I got to understand that that's what the people are looking for. And then they kind of do different things. Yeah. But I'm thinking, so we have children that go into this whole thing knowing, and that's exactly what they're seeking out for. Or is it like the shock? What just happened? Or are some very deadly that when you try it, you are done for? Like you're hooked. You can't help yourself.
Yes, now that one is nicotine. So anything with nicotine, the moment you take it, it stimulates you to take more. Like you become, it is
Just keep
addictive.
upgrading.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The body now is the one that
Uh-huh.
demands for more.
it.
You know, we're talking here about taste, and I'm reminded of, I don't know if you saw that video about chugging. Where
You
kids
talked
are
about
chugging,
it.
yeah,
You
where
talked
they
about it.
think
I've not
through
seen
the
it.
butthole, so they don't have to taste it.
You won't smell it.
You won't smell it. They just get high. They're just there. You see that one of the videographers is like, yo.
He's understanding the heights.
Sounds
They
painful.
got it, yeah. They don't smell like it, but they enter the house.
Happy.
The guy is high. You check everything, but he passed it through the butthole. They put it in a tampon. Will we talk? Oh, yeah, they told us, the teenagers told us yesterday. Until when they tell us things,
We are traumatized.
our
You have to keep a straight face.
Keep a straight
Don't
face.
show the
Say it
emotion.
again, say it again. Let me practice. Say it again.
They get a
You
gene,
shall see every
put in a
emotion.
tampon. It's now thick, fix up the butthole or the vaginal hole, verse the panty. Oh, you tell me how you smell it. Or even when you are checking, where do you start?
Oh,
You say
yeah.
remove your panty now.
Nothing.
And even if you do, I mean,
Yeah, but they are.
It's
It's
working.
called chugging. Yeah.
oh man.
Mukwana.
So, but now I'm a teacher. I'm a parent. If I have observed suspicious behavior, the eyes, this one is overreading. The one who has not
How is
clever
that a
suddenly is
problem?
they are overworking.
Dozing in
They
class.
are dozing at it during that day. But this child denies using drugs. I know you've talked about the rapid testing, but now I'm a teacher. I might not be able to.
Afford
What do
those
we do?
rapid things also. Aren't they expensive?
Rapid
Rapid tests, or they are
It
affordable?
depends on the hospital where
Okay.
you're going.
Okay.
Some hospitals charge high, others
Yeah.
are low, depending.
Depending on where you go. Okay.
Are there? What do we do? Now the child has said, Zemi, I don't take drugs. But you're like, there must be a way you're taking drugs. What do we do?
Now, many of the children we have, they have at least 1 or 2 teachers they feel comfortable with. Now, in case you observe this particular child and you start suspecting something, as a teacher, first be calm. That is one. Because the moment you panic and you want to confront, you too are going to get stressed. So what you do, you be calm, then observe this child, keep monitoring this child, the different behaviors.
Yeah.
Share with your teachers within that particular group that, you know what, this has happened, such that also they keep an eye on that
child.
person.
Yes.
Then at the end of the day, because one thing I know that you cannot hide forever.
Yeah,
at least one time it will
come out.
Yes.
True.
So you keep monitoring, but also you can start investigating using the friends, because some of those friends can be able to share that, but teacher, this person does this. So you can get still some information. But also some schools have counselors. So you may advise this particular child that, or you may ask the counselor to call the child, and then the counselor can have a one-on-one, can ask open-ended questions, and then the child, if with time, they can be able to open up. Yes, but the moment the child opens up, then it means that that child will be able to recover. But in case it doesn't open up, then that's where now...
It's a place of addiction.
If you got a chance, some policies that can be put in place to help the parents, to help the schools, and to help the students, the children. Do you have any idea? What are those things you'd suggest?
One, I would start with the education system. Our education system is overloaded. It's not counterproductive to have a child study or to use the cognitive domain, the head, from around 8 to 4. That is a lot of work. So I would suggest that, or I would recommend that we reduce on the like the hours the children are in class, because we have other domains like the affective, the hands-on. So schools where children are really struggling, it's because they are not involving in the physical activities. And this brain here, to work well, it needs the other physical,
the balance
of the three, of which many of these schools that children are going through,
they have to get X number of fours.
That's
why even parents have taken their
children there. We also want fours.
Yes, true. Then I also recommend that now we start integrating or introducing new subjects. Let me say mental hygiene as a subject on its own. Starting with the primary, because like the way we have the physical health subject. So now we need the mental one, because if children get to have that knowledge that when I do this, psychologically, this is what will happen. Yes, that one would be also. Then I would also recommend we call it a triangulation approach. Now, triangulation has around 3 things, whereby we have a school, we have the child, and a parent. If those 3 people can work together, then many of these things we are struggling with, the mental health, the drugs, and the rest of that, will be sorted completely. Yeah. But also we need also to educate the parents more. And many of the parents do not understand their own children. So they need that listening here, because when we talk about listening has, we call them skill steps, 15 of them according to the Scholar Builder framework. So many of the parents even don't reach skill step 2. Because whenever the child is trying to communicate something,
they're like, what is it?
What did you say? Wait.
First of there.
Exactly.
We don't do that in our family.
Yes, and that is skill step 0. Whereby whenever someone is talking, you
dropped us from 2 to 0.
Wow. Teacher, I want to
know. We are on 0.
Although, as you've kept sharing, I remained at TB. And the Bible says in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Let me tell you, there are things our parents taught us. You will divert. Your friends will take you here and there, but you will always come back. So for me, it is to encourage a parent out there, build the foundation. build, because they're going to find all these things. They'll be there. They'll be there, I promise you. But because you built that foundation, they will always come back to it. They will always come back. Because I was thinking, I can't control all these drugs. I mean, I've been thinking about my 2 kids and I'm like, I can't do this thing. I can't. But you know what? God can actually work with us. We can pull through this thing. So for me, that's where I stayed. I'm like, you know what? God, it's okay.
Stop
Too busy.
Too busy.
No, but
I
like
also can't help it.
like as a single mother, I understand where you're coming from, because you're like
But there's something else also. I listened to a child psychologist speak, and she said sometimes we're under so much pressure as parents because we want a certain lifestyle for ourselves and for our children. But if we can sacrifice within the first few years of a child's life, the foundation years, and said, look, we might not be able to afford the most expensive schools, the most expensive clothes, live in the most expensive neighborhoods, just so that one person or both of us have more time at home and less time in the office or in the businesses, until we get to that point. She said some sacrifices have to be made. Yes, there's a time for everything. Rather than you make all the money now and then lose
spend it
and then spend it to rehabilitate your child. Yes, if you have the chance to rehabilitate them, that's it. So she said, can we step down on some of our expenses?
And the desire for pleasure. So a parent, firstborn, has all these mistakes have already been made, or life has just handed you this as a challenge. You're dealing with an addicted child now. They are not teenagers anymore. They have become young adults. But they have siblings. And most cases, they love them so much. Now they're the ones caring for them, they're the ones who find them. And then usually they will be like, that other last one, like the last one, who loves them a lot and ends up doing like the same copy-paste. And now, how do you deal as a parent? And that's your reality.
Maybe I can first start with sharing. She has been talking about parents. Like we have a case. There's a case one time, some few years back, whereby this parent didn't give a good foundation. This child became very addicted to the drugs. This child joined a school. Is what the school did. Once this child, they noticed that the child is on drugs, they expelled the child. He was taken to another school. The same thing happened. He was expelled. Went to another school. The same thing happened. Was expelled. Then the parent said, "What can I do?" He sat the person down and stayed with the person at home. What happened? Now this person, this child, other siblings, the young ones, started learning the same behaviors this person was doing. And now, what can we do as parents? Now, in case you have such a special case of that particular child, we recommend taking them to rehabilitation centers. When they take them there, we can recommend about 5 to 6 weeks of them being there. So once this person is taken there, there is a way psychologically the mind is going to, we call it programming the mind. Now you have to reprogram everything of the mind. So whenever they are in the rehabilitation center, what the psychologists do, they make sure that they help this child to reprogram everything in the mind. So by the time he comes back, he's a changed person. But do not keep them with others. The same thing.
Painful decision to make, guys. Huh?
It is. Because rehab is painful.
And they're very expensive rehabs.
They're very expensive, but I've also witnessed, even just I think yesterday but one, I was speaking to a friend of mine whose sister, who's now a mother, is addicted to drugs, and she's just run out of all the rehabilitation centers. It doesn't matter where they are. She escapes. Now, and she's a mother now. Yeah, but this has been going on for a long time. We were talking last week, I think, about a dad who's just like, the child, even rehabilitation has jammed. Let me just give the child drugs from home.
So that they don't leave.
He does not disappear, because every time they would pick him when he's almost dead. People have hit him or it would be traumatic to even just get him to good health.
Yeah. So what happens when things like rehabilitation centers Chiganye. Do I keep jumping from one rehabilitation center to another? Or are the forms of, what exactly is going wrong? Are the forms of treatment not working? Like what exactly can cause you, a parent, to have to keep taking a child to rehab all the time?
Okay, now it will depend, but sometimes in case you have taken them to some rehabs and things have failed, sometimes it may be beyond, because whenever you get addicted to the drugs, some things you may end up getting other illnesses. So you may find that they are fighting for drugs, yet actually what the person is suffering from is different. So they may need to go and check out with the psychiatrist and first find out whether the root for it. Because you have seen, even in schools, we have some of those children. They are not really suffering from drugs, but they are mentally have a problem. So sometimes you may need to go check out with a psychiatrist. Maybe you can go to Butavik Hospital, because that's where the main ones from the country are, or Makerere University. They have one. They such that they can first diagnose and find
if there is anything else
apart from the drugs.
Wow. Teacher Stephen, thank you so much. Yes. This has been very enlightening.
Yes.
And I hope that if you're a mom out there, you're a dad out there, and you're struggling with a teenage child, I pray solution for you. In fact, now I feel the leading to pray. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for that mom and for that dad who has a child. I pray right now, Lord, as they prophetically lay their hands on their children. Maybe if it's a cloth that the child wears, or if something, that a place they like to sit, go and sit there, and let's pray this prayer. Father, I pray for this child that's struggling. Lord, you give us redemption. Many times as parents, we give birth and we don't know what we have to do to steward a child. But Father, Lord, your word tells us that you will teach our children and great will be their peace. And so we might have caused our children to be in certain spaces and certain places where they shouldn't have been, but the enemy has been able to infiltrate them. Father, I pray right now for comfort for any parent whose child is going through this. Any parent who's having to take their children for rehabilitation. Any parent who's having to walk through schools calling them left, right, and center to expel their children. Father, I pray for comfort. I pray that you hold them. I pray that, Lord, you give them strength, supernatural strength, but also you give them peace that transcends all understanding, oh God. That, Father, they will have the knowledge and the wisdom on how to move forward. And also, Lord, I pray for that teenager. I speak right now to their spirit and to their soul and to their body to be aligned in the name of Jesus, for the desire that their parent has for them. I pray, Lord, right now, they will detest the taste of these drugs. They will detest the highness that brings it, because they'll realize how low they fall after they've been so high. Father, I pray they will detest the numbing that it brings them. Father, I pray for an activation and a realization and an acknowledgement of their feelings and their emotions, that they'll be able to feel these emotions, feel these things, and not numb them. But Father, I pray for parents to have wisdom on how to deal with their children. Open our ears. Father, we might be busy. We've known that there are certain moms who are single and they can't help it. Fathers are single and they can't help it. Or parents are both working, and they have no money to get, even with their joint income. But Lord, they have these children and there's nothing they can do. Father, I pray, Lord, that you give them wisdom. Help them, give them wisdom to where, when immediately they talk to their child, they will go straight to what touches that child, that they'll be able to reach them in places that they've never reached them. Father, I pray for relationships. I pray for a rebuilding of our families, a rebuilding of our homes. Father, bring back women's dead children. Your word says that you will bring back our dead children. Those children that have died, the dreams that have died, the destinies that have died. Father, bring them back right now in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Now, I've been reminded I think there's a time Pastor B3 preached about it, and she said the way addiction works, you know, we have the spiritual and the physical. So there are certain things that you do in the physical realm, and you feel like the spiritual realm is not affected. So you're taking the alcohol, you still have control, you know, you're still dancing
You're
in
good.
the club, you're kawaii.
You're even shy now, you're no longer shy.
You're enjoying, you know.
You're talking to everybody
you're
confidently.
good. But the day when the alcohol starts to control you, a spirit has taken over.
That's true.
Now, by the time a spirit takes over, that it can't even be aligned. Something is wrong, you know, and we can't take it lightly. There is that place, like I've shared with you, where you try everything. I pray, mother and father, get your child's name and put them on an altar. And say, Lord, I bring this child during my prayer time. Surrender this child to God. Surrender. Instead of just surrendering and just saying, oh, no, surrender this child to God. Kastamulamu, yeah, but you don't know what's going to happen a few weeks from now, a few months from now. May you be strengthened. May you be strengthened to bring this child, because this child is you are given this child to steward, to care for, to take care of, that they might reach their full destiny. Actually, many people's lives are depending on your child reaching their full destiny. So may you be encouraged, may you be strengthened. And for those of us whose children have not even encountered this drugs and drug abuse, may the devil not infiltrate in the name of Jesus. May we be able to keep our children safe. May we be able to open their eyes. And I want to encourage us, before you call your teenager to watch this show, first pray. Because we also don't want to awaken.
To do kalam.
They're like, online, and then they're checking. Pray, and then allow your child, and then have conversations. Let's have conversations. Let's have conversations. I like the trick that our parents used to use, which was, Munanga, I might not be having a convo, but my child likes Auntie Sharon. Let me send them to Auntie Sharon. And Auntie Sharon, help us. Help us, because the devil, the enemy, has come for our children. And when he comes to remove an entire generation. When they say kill children 2 years and below, that is an entire generation gone. So let's take this, let's be vigilant about this. But next week, we shall be going on to another series. We hope you've enjoyed Teens and Tensions. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we can't wait to see you next week. Until next time, with love from Bump Love.
Bye.
Bump Love was brought to you by
Pay school fees and win up to 50 million in cash prizes. Dial *185#, select option 6 and follow the prompts.
Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.